Alright, what's going on everybody? It's Matt Abong with Nat's Fight Media coming at you guys with another video. You guys already know what time it is. It's time to bring on that boxing. Today we're going to be talking about Ryan Garcia. Coming off that obviously devastating technical knockout, or you could call it a KO, I'd say, from the body shot from Tank Davis. Obviously it's not the way Ryan planned things. It's not the way he wanted the fight to go, but it happens in this sport of boxing. You don't always get the result you want. It's not always your night. The thing is that you know, boxing's a tricky sport. You could train, you could have a great camp, 6-7 weeks of just, you know, perfection, honestly. You could feel great, you know, your mindset could be in the best place, but all that matters is that one night. And unfortunately for Ryan Garcia, it wasn't his night. Tank got the better of him. The better man won that night, and I think the better boxer and fighter won that night. But Ryan's first words, you know, after the fight night loss, you know, he was interviewed by TMZ. Not really interviewed, he was just coming out of like a restaurant or something. It seemed like he was grabbing some coffee or whatever. And you know, obviously, you know how the paparazzi is. They swarm you, they catch you at sites where, you know, you don't necessarily want to see anybody, but you kind of deal with it. Ryan didn't seem like he was in the best mood. Obviously, coming off a tough loss, no fighter, no boxer, you know, takes a loss lightly. They all want redemption, and it can hurt to lose a fight like that. Obviously, Ryan really wanted to win that fight. It's tough when it's the biggest fight of your life. It's probably not probably it is the fight that he wanted to win the most. He's been asking for 3 years, and then to find out that, you know, you're not as good as you thought. And there are levels to this sport, you know, and he found out that Tank is on another level, and he knows that. And I think that kind of took a little bit away from his spirit, but obviously Ryan's going to be ready to bounce back. It was a tough loss, and it hurts, I'm sure, but he'll come back for sure. But, you know, what bothered me was the reporter asking, you know, do you think you were overmatched? You guys can watch this interview for yourself. Like, go on TMZ, type in Ryan Garcia, blah blah blah. But it was just dumb. It was a dumb question. Like, you're lucky Ryan's even talking to you, responding to your questions. He was answering respectfully, and then, you know, the reporter said, do you feel as though you were overmatched? And then Ryan just like didn't answer, closed the door, was on his way, you know, out anyways. But it was just a silly question. How are you going to ask a fighter if he thinks he was overmatched? That's just insulting. Like, obviously he's not going to say that he was overmatched. He's a fighter, he's a boxer. You think, you know, these guys have the mindset of thinking and accepting that they were overmatched? No, he just lost. He lost to the better man that night. That's the way this fight game is. That's the way the sport of boxing works. You lose to boxers that are the better man, the better fighter. And you know, for Ryan, it just wasn't his night. It wasn't his night. He's going to get back in the lab. It's one loss. Obviously he has to deal with that stigma of, you know, that comes along with boxing, and it's very unfortunate where you know, you have one loss, and then all of a sudden, you know, people start talking about you. You lose fans. People switch up. I don't think that should be the case for Ryan, because he's a special kid. You know, he has a lot of talent. He has a lot going for him, and I think with the right tweaks and adjustments, he'll be back. He could even get that rematch in the future. But you know, he said that down the line he's gonna, you know, rack up some wins, and hopefully when the time is right, then he can make the rematch with Tank happen. And I think that's smart. Ryan's been very vocal about not asking for the rematch right away. He wants to wait and improve on things. He wants to make changes. He's been vocal about that. So I'm curious to see what changes he makes. I think that the key stuff is just going to be humble. I think he got humbled, and I think it's the best thing that could have happened to him, because now he can find out you know, who he really is. He can do some self-reflecting and go back into the, you know, the thought process of how he handled the training camp, what things he wants to change, what worked, what didn't. Because I just think he has to have a more organized training camp, because from what I saw, you know, he was a little bit all over the place. You know, I think he needs people to, you know, push him more. I think that, I've said this before, but Joe Goossen's a great trainer, but I think that their dynamic, it's not going to make Ryan better. It's just not the way, you know, you get your fighter to become the best version of himself. It's more of a friendly dynamic as opposed to, you know, a trainer pushing you. So I'd like to see Ryan with someone, you know, a little bit more aggressive and hands-on in terms of, you know, making sure that Ryan has, you know, builds on the good habits, because I think that's the main thing. I think that, you know, learning that and accepting that Ryan himself isn't above the fundamentals of boxing, because you can't go into a fight without having the basic fundamentals. Like Tank said in the lead up to the press conference, during the press conferences, Tank said he's not a complete fighter, and he has, things that make him exceptional, like the power, and he has the speed, but he needs those fundamentals if he wants to compete with the best and have a chance of, becoming a champion. He has to get that stuff down. I think he knows that. I'm sure he knows that. After this performance, I think it's the best thing that could have happened to him. He's only 24 years old. He has so much, room to grow, and he's going to last long in this sport if he's able to make those tweaks. And I really believe that he will. I think he's a smart person. I think he's a great fighter. And it just comes down to having the right mindset and, being humble. And I think taking your first L, it's not easy. Obviously, he's going to be going through it for days, weeks, months. I don't know how he's going to handle it. But the way he bounces back is going to be very telling of, how long Ryan Garcia is going to last in the sport. And I'm very optimistic about his return to the sport. Obviously, it's not even like a return because he just fought, but I'm just saying, coming off a loss, I know it can be difficult, but I think the way he'll bounce back is going to, show the world who he really is. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to see Ryan in there with a monster right away like Tank or a Devin Haney or a Shakur. I would prefer something a little bit easier, maybe a Jojo Diaz. Not an easy fight, but I'm just saying in comparison to those three guys, Shakur, Devin, and Tank, I'd prefer to see Ryan ease his way back into everything, build his confidence back up, and then you start attacking those guys that are, the big names in the sport. So Ryan's still one of those guys. It's just a matter of, sharpening the tools and polishing up, the fundamentals. That's what he really needs, and I think he'll be able to compete with the best. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of improvements that has to take place for Ryan, in my opinion. And obviously, I'm not a fighter. I'm not, in Ryan's shoes, so it's easy for me to talk. But this is just, from a spectator's perspective. I think that Ryan has a great future, a very bright future in the sport, and he's very entertaining to watch. I'm a fan. So I just want to see him do, the best he can to improve and become that, fighter that reaches his full potential. So I'm excited to see what Ryan does next. Hopefully it's like a Jojo Diaz, Isak Cruz. I think those are good matchups for him. But other than that, I wouldn't want to see him with the top dog just yet. He'll be back. He'll come back, ready. He'll come back stronger, and then those fights will come. Those will be there for him for sure. But let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next from Ryan Garcia and why. Let me know. And what do you think of this reporter kind of asking him, do you think you're overmatched? Because in my opinion, it was a dumb question. It just really bothered me. I was like, I can't believe people get paid to ask questions like that. It's crazy to me. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.